I always thought I was lazy and just downright hated exercise. I don't know how many countless trainers told me to suck it up, to push through that 30 minutes on that horrid treadmill, or to swallow that last egg white or eat nuts and berries all day. I just could not do it. But I soon discovered why I couldn't, despite trying and failing hundreds of times. Hi, I'm Mike, and like most people, until I attended the webinar you are about to attend, this was me. I had that spare tire that grew from a mini spare to a dump truck tire, that ever-expanding waistline where the belt buckle seems to fall lower and lower and lower until eventually you can't see that belt buckle at all. I want to tell you my story because it's one that a lot of people can relate to. Oh, and you'll want to listen to this whole video because when I found out what I'm going to tell you, I simply discovered that my lack of motivation and my inability to get that six-pack or stick to my exercise routine was not my fault. And it's not yours either. No, I'm not going to tell you to pop some magic pill or offer some sort of magic hypnotherapy to motivate you. I'm going to show you a scientifically proven method that once I discovered it, allowed me at age 40 to lose 103 pounds and keep it off by training only 7 minutes a day, 3 times a week. But before I show you how to get into top shape in only 7 minutes, let me first explain why, like me, you may hate exercise or find every excuse in the book to skip your routine, and you're not alone. According to Forbes magazine, 98% of people who start an exercise program with good intentions fail miserably. I like to compare this massive statistical failure to a professor in a university. Imagine a class of 100 university students. Now, the typical failure rate or dropout rate in a university is about 14%. Imagine instead if out of 100 students, only 2% of them passed, and the other 98% of them failed miserably. When you compare this to the average of 14%, would it be the student's fault or the teacher's fault? If any professor in higher education had a failure rate of 98%, he or she would soon be out of a job for their lack of an ability to teach. The point I'm trying to make here is that it certainly would not be the fault of the student with glaring statistics like those. So why is it then that 98% of people who start an exercise program with good intentions fail miserably? The blame is placed on them. You're lazy, you're unmotivated, you're a failure. How could it possibly be that the way we have been preconditioned to look at exercise is the right way? Let me tell you, it's not the right way, and your rejection of those programs is not due to a lack of discipline. It's due to a strong instinct within our body that prevents us from damaging ourselves. Now, I can't take credit for this knowledge. I need to tell you about my buddy Joel Therian. He was one of those genetically gifted guys, who always sported the amazing six-pack and that beach body look. I never really paid attention because after all, he was one of those lucky freaks who loved exercise and had more discipline than I could ever hope for. So how did my life change? Well, it was my doctor who ended up telling me that if I continued on the same path I was on, I would become a diabetic or suffer my first heart attack within the next 5 years. But wait, my life didn't quite change for the better yet. This rude awakening was all I needed, or so I thought. Yep, this was going to be the moment, the perfect time. I was going to be an exercise buff the rest of my life. I was going to prove my doctor wrong. Turns out the only person I proved wrong was myself. Within weeks of starting my new exercise program with my new trainer, I found myself making all the excuses in the world. Yep, I had failed once again to lose anything. I just hated to exercise. That's who I was. That's who I was always going to be. A guy who just hated exercise with a passion. A few more months went by until I finally found the courage to ask my friend Joel what he took to look so amazing his whole life. What he said to me changed my perspective and outlook on both exercise and life. He said, Mike, it's not what I take. It's not that I love to train. It's how I train that makes it fun. I'm no more disciplined than you are. Mike, my whole life I've never ever trained more than 7 minutes a day, 3 times per week. What? I remember thinking, come on, you've got to be joking. I was listening though because after all, the guy looked pretty amazing. He continued, "You see, Mike, how I do things in just 7 minutes a day, 3 times per week, has been scientifically proven to get people in top shape. To remove your skepticism, I need about 1 hour of your time to show you why 7 minutes works and show you why you will never, ever fail again. And even better, why you'll actually love this system. But I really need about 1 hour of your time to show you the real science behind it, because once you understand the science, once you become educated on this secret, you will become a true believer and you will finally achieve the health and physique that you've always wanted. I'm doing an online webinar. Do you think you can make it, Mike?" I was asked 1 hour of my time to remove a lifetime of failure. I figured it was 1 hour of my time or possibly a premature death. That webinar changed my life. After I watched it, I told him I would follow his system, and after I followed his system, I lost 103 pounds. I decided I needed to tell the world about this and help free people from their obesity. I was a prisoner too, but now I'm free and following through on my pledge. So let me invite you to register for our next webinar. It not only changed my life, it compelled me to spread the word. So please feel free to help me out and forward this webpage to as many people as possible once you have registered. And no, we will not share or sell your email address to anyone. I hate spam too. We just use it to send you your access link to the webinar. Thanks for your time.